just like a broken record, same old songs of accusation play. Like who are you to speak the truth? Just look at all your failures and mistakes. And if they really knew you, there's no way they could love you anyway. Oh, but I will fight the lies with the truth.
Hello and welcome to the Send Help Podcast, a podcast and a lifeline for moms who are stuck in the trenches of mommyhood, bringing them encouragement through Jesus, laughter, and sisterhood.
We've got the giggles today.
We do.
Woo.
Sorry, guys. We definitely do.
We're going to be bringing you a lot of encouragement through Jesus, but with a lot
of laughter.
You may have to wade through the laughter
to find the nuggets of truth. Man.
Whew. Okay, so you're listening to this the day that you find out the election results.
Yeah. Maybe.
True. We're recording yesterday.
Yes.
So
we're recording on election day.
On election day.
So if you are listening to this, we all survived. The world still exists.
Yes. Yes, Lord. Okay. In all honesty, I mean, how often do I say that? I feel like that could be a coffee drinking game, and you will be unable to sleep for a week. If
Not
you do
me.
That. No, coffee puts you to
Wouldn't
sleep.
faze me at all. Yeah. Bring on the coffee.
But
here we go. I've got my coffee right here. I'll play along while we record.
In all honesty,
there we go.
Drink.
It's still a little hot.
Is it good though?
It is good.
I told you.
Yeah.
It's just the hint.
Yeah.
It's a nice hint.
Of pumpkin.
Yeah, I was gifted with some wonderful pumpkin spice Starbucks coffee K-Cups, and I am so thankful for them. Mm-hmm. So, thank you, Lindsay. Thanks for thinking of me. Okay, you guys. In all honesty,
jeez,
do it again.
Y'all are gonna start to hear me slurp out of the little hole of my travel cup.
Y'all, we are recording during the day, which means we are both very wired.
It's true. It's true.
Okay. I'm going to say it one more time, but you don't have to drink. As Christians, no matter what this election result is, whether we find out today or we find out days from today,
January,
we are called to be encouragers and comforters, especially during this time, because a lot of people have a lot on the line in this election, and we are called to comfort and bring encouragement, not divide. And so I just want to encourage you to be a comfort to everyone around you, even if you know that you voted for someone else, and not be prideful and gloat. Right now is not the time for that. Right now is the time to lift each other up and trust in the Lord. So, with that being said,
and if your candidate loses, the world is not over.
No, by no means. So be encouraged in Christ that he has got this. It has not surprised him. He was completely prepared for this. And he's got you, and he's got our country. I believe that completely. Call me crazy, but anyway,
sometimes songs come into my head.
That's okay.
And
me too.
I shouldn't sing them.
Yes, I know. It's the ones that you shouldn't sing are the ones that always come back to your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know the words except for like one or two of the words. And it's probably because I shouldn't know the rest of the words.
So I have to be honest. Like I know. Take another drink,
coffee.
Everyone. Take another drink of your coffee.
This makes recording interesting.
It does. You're gonna be so wired.
Not really. I mean, I'm going to finish the cup of coffee by the time we're done, regardless.
True. It's true. It's just going to be faster. I have had an overwhelming peace today.
Mm-hmm.
I am not worried about this election. I do know what we face as a nation in response to the election. And that's the thing that has been on my heart to pray for our country is how everyone responds. Either way. I'm not thinking, oh, this is definitely going to happen, or though this is definitely going to happen, like as in the results of the election. I honestly don't know. This is a year that we will never forget.
It's true.
Especially with the election.
When like our great grandchildren are in history class and they're learning about 2020,
The dumpster fire year.
the dumpster fire year, it's going to be like, so in 2020, there was a pandemic of COVID-19 and then there were riots everywhere. And it was an election year and that election was a doozy, kids.
I agree.
People are going to be like, man, I'm glad I wasn't here in 2020.
Yeah. But it is... I don't know that I have really lived through an election that seemed to be so polarizing.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know,
and
maybe
so
some of those
divisive.
elections in the 80s were, and we
Yeah.
just didn't know it.
have no idea. Who knows? I mean, there was a Cold War. There was stuff.
It's true.
You know? Yeah.
There's always something.
There's always something. But the Lord has just given me this beautiful peace. And I'm like, Lord, why is it that I have peace like this? Like, where is it coming from? And I mean, I'm not like boasting. I'm like, guys, I have so much peace. So much.
Check it out. Check it out. So much
Look
peace
how
right
amazing
now.
I am because I am such a good Christian that I have peace.
No, I'm glad that you said that though, because I've just, I mean, you know me.
I do.
So I've been thinking, I feel so indifferent about this because
I don't think that you feel indifferent. I think that
No,
you just
yeah.
have a foundation
Yeah.
of just trusting that this
that's why
is...
I'm glad
yeah.
that you said you have a peace over it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm not indifferent. I just have peace.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage you that if you have peace, that you don't feel pressured. Like I have been feeling some serious pressure from people that do believe super strongly that this election will change the world and that it like life or death kind of thing. And while yes, I believe elections are important and I believe that all of these issues are very important on both sides, honestly.
Yeah.
I have this peace because I know that God is still in control. And I truly believe that. And somebody may think that I am naive to believe that, or that I'm a Pollyanna when it comes to this.
We did live through the clock turning from 1999 to 2000.
Yeah, we had all of the dehydrated food.
Yeah.
All of it. All of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe we've
I
just
wasn't
gotten
allowed to
used
go out
to,
yeah.
yeah.
I just
Maybe our
trust.
generation has just gotten used to the, okay, so once again, everyone believes the world is going to end, but we trust that God has this.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Because he's
dude.
proven that over and over through all of the things that our
if
generation
it is
has
ending, it means Jesus is coming back. So
Right?
I'm good.
seen. Yeah. I'm good with that.
I don't want this to come off as flippant because I'm getting somewhere with this. I truly believe that all of this hardship that we have gone through and all of the hardship that you have gone through, everyone listening, and all of the hardships that I have gone through, the Lord is really showing me that He has been building something. He has been building something in me. He has been building me, right?
Mm-hmm.
God is building you through something hard that is going on in your life, whether that is COVID-19, whether that is just the general everything that has to do with the pandemic, whether it's been coming for a long time for
Yeah.
you, whether it's sickness that you're dealing with, that you've been dealing with since before COVID, if it's financial issues, if it's anything under the sun that you have been dealing with that has been hard, and it has been hard to trust God in it and hard to see where his hand is.
Right.
I want you to hear me when I say that he is building you through it. He is building a foundation of trusting in his faithfulness, because he is going to show you that he is faithful.
Absolutely.
Because he is always, always, always faithful. He's steadfast. He's faithful. You can trust in him. He will never fail you. It may feel like he's failed you, but it's because you haven't seen the end of the picture.
Right.
Right. So like I'm a photographer, humble brag. But I have this really long lens, this beautiful long lens. I know, 70 to 200. And it is amazing. And it's got this beautiful bokeh effect. And I can zoom in. Like, I couldn't even shoot you right now because you're too close.
Right.
But the whole point is it's this beautiful portrait lens that is a long, like, from far away. So from the back of the church, I can get your hands, I can get your face, all that stuff, right? But when I'm looking through it, I am hyper focused on what is right there that I am zoomed in from zoomed in on. So I'm missing the rest of the activity, right? Now, if I switch that, I know you guys are like, great, more camera talk. If I switch that to my 24-70, which is my normal shoot everything lens, it still has a pretty focal length that does some bokeh in the back if I'm zooming really in. But when I zoom out, I can see the big picture. And I feel like that is what God wants to show you. You are looking through a 70 to 200 and you are hyper focused on one thing. But if you zoom out, God has a whole lot that he's doing.
Right.
That we can't see because we are looking through that lens, because that's what we're focused on right now.
Right.
And I just want to encourage you guys, when you step back from a Monet, you see the full portrait. I know I love Monet, mostly because when you get up, it looks like a total mess. And I'm like, that's my life. But when I step back from it, you see the beauty in every layer of those colors and all of those messy strokes. It's something that I use with Josh all the time. I'm like, because he loves Monet also.
He does.
But I'm like, look at it up close. Now step back. Like, we'll go to the Kimball. Look at it up close. Now step back. Look it up close. Now step back. And I use it all the time to remind him that God has a big picture, and that today may have felt like a failure. And today you may feel like he doesn't even know your name anymore, but he does. And he's working. He is the master painter. He is the potter. He is the creator. He is the orchestra conductor. He knows what he's doing.
He does.
And he can see it all. And you can't see it all because of our focal length, which is fine.
He doesn't have to switch lenses.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. To be God. In that moment, in that instance, I don't want to be God. But he just kept telling me today, he is building a foundation of faithfulness, of trusting God's faithfulness. Yeah. Because that is what he has done in my life. And this is where I'm going with this. I can share a story. Story time? Yes. Story time. Okay. So as you guys know, last year when we started this podcast, which was insane to me because of when we were going through all of what we were going through last year, I was like, and I still have to come up with something for the podcast. Thankfully, Christy had stories about mouses and houses. Mouses and houses. And fun things like that, because she was there to basically rescue me, because I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. And you're like, I got this. I caught a mouse today. I got this. I say that because that was the day. It was one of the worst days that we had gone through as a family. And you're like, it's fine. We'll meet at your parents' house. I got this. Don't worry about it. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, because he had me. Mm-hmm. Had I started this podcast on my own, which I never would have because it was supposed to be us, I would have had to take a hiatus for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But you guys know that last year, Josh had a procedure to get something out of his ears, and he had a really bad reaction that lasted about 6-7 weeks, and then longer. The effects of what happened during that time. It's been a year. Mm-hmm. When I was going to talk about this, it was to the day a year. But his little body held on to that medication, and it messed with his brain in a huge way.
It really did.
And there were moments where doctors, they were like, there's no way that this could be anesthesia. Finally, we found a doctor that was like, no, this is anesthesia. And he's been over-medicated to try and fix the behavior that's happening because of the anesthesia. Right. And it was the hardest season we have walked through yet. And we've walked through some pretty crappy seasons. But this one,
your kid.
One was my baby.
Yeah.
This was the rest of his life. They were talking rest of life. This is what it's going to be. This is what you're looking at. Talking about inpatient care. And no. And I was just like, no, I really believe it's over medication and it's this. Like, this is what's going on. And God kept saying, I've got this. And I'm like, are you sure? Every day. Are you sure?
Are you sure you got this?
Are you sure? I trust you. Are you sure? But because he had it, he knew what he was doing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's another drinking game right there. It's here's the thing. But here's the thing. He knew what was going to happen. He knew that we needed to start this podcast when we started it. Mm-hmm. Not only for me, but for a lot of other things. But in my life, he knew I needed a reason to dig and dig and dig with him. Mm-hmm. And I have grown more in the last year because we're trying to be so faithful to the Lord and what he's doing with this podcast that we really work on what we're going to say. We don't just flippantly just start a conversation. We really try and always bring it back to Christ and always have truth in it, right? And because of that, you guys know, if you've been with us, like, think about Anger Sweater, like that kind of thing. Those were the things that were happening. And God was like teaching me through my son, teaching me through the fact that we had to keep digging. And honestly, I don't know that I would have been digging. I would have been would have flailed a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
Had we not had this commitment to this podcast, and had we not been where we were. And I look back and I can see where God was building my faith in him and my faith that he really is going to, I was like, because there was no other choice at that point. There's no other choice but to trust that God has got this.
Right.
Because the alternative, I don't want to think about. Right. I was literally laying out on the floor just when I couldn't do it and just worshiped, or would hold Josh because his body was so out of control. Just hold him, rock back and forth, and just worship on the floor. Just worship. And it was the only thing that would bring peace into the room. It was the only thing that would bring peace into his body. And I look at Josh today, y'all, he's having the best year he's ever had.
He is.
Now, are we going to have hard days? Yes, because he's a kid. Because he's 7. But in the last year, Josh's faith alone has grown so much, and he has got this foundation now that he has an actual relationship with God.
Right.
And it is incredible. But had we not gone through that, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't be in the same place. And had we not gone through that, I can look back and see that God was just building me. He was building me through that. He's still building me. But the foundation that I have and the trust of his faithfulness, because he is faithful.
Mm-hmm.
Trials, tribulations, nothing is going to shake my trust and my faith in the Lord, and that he is faithful to see it through. He's got a plan. There is a bigger picture. You can only see one spot. You have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what he's doing around you in the background. You can only see down that lens. Thank you, Siri. So, I want to read James 1, 2 through 4. Ooh, no, I'm going to keep going.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If you lack wisdom, he should ask God. If any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to him. But when he asks, he must believe and not doubt, because he who doubts is like a wave of the sea blown and tossed by the wind. That a man should not think he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all he does. And I can tell you right this very minute that I definitely have been in those seasons where I have been so doubtful that I have been like a wave in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And this season is different. And I can't guarantee that I'm not ever going to have doubt again, because I struggle with that a lot. But it keeps coming back to choosing peace, choosing faith,
right,
choosing trust, even when I can't see him. Because a lot of the time, my seasons are in the dark. Like, I have felt in a lot of ways, in a lot of seasons, that like God never shows me he never shows any of us all the steps, but it's like he's at the other end of a room and I'm supposed to get to him, but I can't. And he just flips on the light for 2 seconds and he flips it off. And for a while, I felt like he was messing with me. But now I know that he's right next to me. He's not at the other end of the hall. He's never left. He's always been with me. And he's with me in the dark too. Even when I can't see him, I know he's there. Even when I don't hear him, I know he's there. And I can say, looking back over that whole year, that God was doing huge things. And I'm so grateful for that time, because I can say, and Josh can say, look at where God has brought me.
Right.
It's amazing. And a big part of last year was COVID.
Right.
We had just had a meeting with the school and we're going to try some new techniques. And Josh had finally evened out and his little brain was finally totally rid of all of the medicine and he was really starting to get confidence again. He was having good days. His teacher was excited because she was starting to really get to know the real Josh. And then boom, spring break.
Yeah.
Boom, COVID. It was just insane. And I was like, what are we going to do? And then I forgot that I was supposed to be teaching Josh all about, it was my responsibility.
Right.
And then I remembered, and we had really that time that we got to spend at home was building that confidence back up, and he just flourished. It was hard as heck, you guys. There were a lot of dark days where I'm like, okay, Lord, I know you're in this. I know you're in this. I know you're in this. But he has never had a month like the last 2 months that he's had at school. And it is just amazing. And like yesterday, we had a blip on the radar. It was just a little blip. Little blip. But he finished strong. Like he went back to class. He ended up getting a stamp from his teacher in his calendar that was like, I'm so proud of you. Aww. Because he came back.
Yeah.
And he went back to work and he finished it and he saw it through. And he recovered.
That's
it was
amazing.
But that's the first blip we've had.
Yeah.
And I'm not, it's not going to shake my faith if
Right.
we have more.
Right.
Because we will. I'm realistic. But nothing like last year. Last year was above and beyond the hardest year that we've had. And I wouldn't want anyone else to have to go through that. But because of it, I have been able to, like, there were a couple swim parents that were like, I don't know what's wrong. She was one way one week. And I was like, well, what happened? And she's like, well, she had tube spit her ears. And I was like, oh, okay. So it sounds like maybe anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, nobody has said that because it says it's supposed to be out of your system in 24 hours. Well, that's not true. It just doesn't affect you anymore unless it does.
Unless it does.
But I was able to speak to her about that. And she was like, that is exactly what we're seeing. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to ask your doctor what it was, what kind of medication it is. You're going to have to call the hospital and then you're going to have to go down there because they won't give you the records over the phone. But I'm like, you can do this. And don't worry. It was like, get a lot of greens, flush the system, and have a lot of grace and peace with this because it may be rough for a little while, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I just want to say to you, God is faithful. I know I've said that a million times today, but He is faithful. And something in your life right now is building you, but you get to choose what it builds.
Right. I heard someone say recently, no clue who said it. So sorry if you deserve credit, but we want the mountaintop. Mm-hmm. We want to go from mountaintop to mountaintop,
but you grow
from glory to glory.
Yeah.
But to get from one mountaintop to another mountaintop, you have to go into a valley.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can choose. You can choose to stay in the valley. And I don't know what happens in the valley. Maybe you build a little cabin and live there.
Right.
I don't know. Or you can choose to climb
to keep going
the next mountaintop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like it almost implies that, yes, God is working on us in the valley, but we also have to choose to trust that we can reach the next mountaintop. I'm not a mountain climber.
No.
And I know that if I was on a mountaintop and then I came down the mountain, I would need a minute.
Right. Well, that's the thing. That's where the streams are in the valley. They can't be on the mountaintop.
Right.
That's where the shade under the trees are. That's where the water is. That's where He walks with you and He lays you down beside green pastures besides the water so that you can rest and so that He can speak to you. But you can choose to see it one of two ways. You can choose to see, I'm down here and I have to get all the way up there. I don't think I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Or you can choose to be like, oh, finally a cool drink of water.
Right.
You're
here
here with
rest
me
for a while.
Yeah.
And then I'm definitely going to need the push to
Right.
start climbing the next mountain.
Yes.
And
thankfully.
to know that He's got my back. So if I start to
thankfully
slide, He's going to catch me and shove me back up.
Yes, you are not alone on that hike.
Yeah. There's going to be times that I'm out of breath because, altitude.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
So don't knock the valleys.
No.
They're there for a reason. They serve a
Ask the
purpose.
Lord to show you that stream and show you why He's down there. Because honestly, that's where the shepherd rests with the sheep.
Don't think I missed that, honestly.
Definitely still drinking her coffee.
I am. Man, does a shepherd? No. I just went there. I just had this whole thing in my head.
Go.
I was like, do you think that the shepherd has to get the sheep up the mountain? But, duh.
The pastures are down.
But we're the sheep.
Yeah, we are.
He's the shepherd.
Yeah.
So yeah, He's going to get us up that mountain.
Yeah.
He's not going to leave anyone behind.
He might break your legs and carry you.
It's true. After a little bit of a hike, I might be saying, hey, pretend like it's broken so that He can carry me for a little bit.
In those moments that you are broken and He's having to carry you guys, that is, okay, think about a shepherd carrying a sheep over his shoulder. One side has the back feet, one side has the front feet, but those front feet also has a face up there, right?
Yeah.
So your face is the closest to his face when he's carrying you.
Yeah.
So listen,
Get a little snuggle.
snuggle in, listen, and let him breathe on you. You know, I mean, that's when you're going to hear him the most is when he's carrying you because he's speaking to you.
Yeah.
You can hear him. Even if he's not speaking, you can hear him breathing. You can hear that closeness. You just have to be still and quiet and let it happen. Stop struggling, little sheep.
Right. I was about to say, little sheep, let me in. But that's a little pig. It's a different story. During this time, people are going through very different phases of the exact journey of mountaintop down to the valley, back up the mountaintop that we're talking about. Some people, I think, are on their way down the mountain. Like they were up on a mountaintop. It might be hard to imagine with everything that we've been going through that someone was on their mountaintop, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their own story.
Oh,
in their
we were
own place.
definitely headed up.
Yeah.
We were headed up.
Right. So, but maybe you were headed up your mountain. You were almost there.
Or
and
you
then
were there.
Pandemic happened and you're like, oh, and it was just like a slow scooch
painful
back
fall.
down.
Yeah.
And there were moments during the stay at home that you were like, no, I got this. Zoom Bible studies. We're on it. And you kind of stayed right there, took a few steps back up.
That was
or
us.
maybe you
That was
just
us.
completely slid all the way back down to the valley.
Yeah.
You know, whatever the circumstances of the past few months, you are somewhere in that.
Yes.
Maybe you're chilling out in the valley because you want to see what's going to happen before you start to climb anything.
Right. Right. Can I trust that mountain? I don't know.
Was that good? Is that boulder about to fall on me? Can I put my foot here? I don't know. I'm not a mountain climber, but you're with
Avalanche
someone
has
who
happened
is.
every time I've gone
Right?
towards it.
So, but what are you using the valley for? What are you building?
Mm-hmm.
Are you using that time to maybe build up some steps to reach that ledge that's the first step of going back up the mountain?
Right.
Are you resting? Maybe you're in a place that you are being carried. I think everyone is in a different part of that. But
one thing is true. We all have
yeah,
the same shepherd.
we all have the same shepherd. Remember what she said a few minutes ago. It's building.
Yeah.
Whatever portion of the mountaintop on your way back down, in the valley on your way back up, it's building. It's all building. There is never a point in that journey that you can't build.
Right.
That's just, there's not a place that exists where God cannot be actively building in you. And there's definitely a lot of building going on right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, people have been saying it since March that he's using this time for something. He is moving in our lives personally,
Yes.
in the country,
Yes.
in the world,
in
in
kingdom.
the Milky Way,
Yes.
whatever. He is building. And we don't have that lens that we can just switch back and forth. We have
No.
to actively focus on the different spots.
Yeah.
We can't just zoom in or zoom out like he can.
No, you've got a long lens that you have to be far
Right.
away to shoot.
So what are you focused in on? Is that what you need to be focused in on? Let's pull it back. I mean, not everyone is a big picture person,
right.
but maybe just try it out for a minute.
Something that just keeps resonating in my head when we've been talking about building. And I just want to say that the Lord, he keeps speaking to me about those bricks that were built with doubt, that they're crumbly.
They are crumbly.
They're crumbly. And I encourage you to not choose doubt, to choose faith, even if it's blind faith. But I also want to encourage you that those things in the past that built you, and those crumbly bricks of doubt and uncertainty
Right.
and not knowing and fear.
Yeah, don't build
That-
your house on the sand.
Right. But that God, he's still going to go back with you and he's going to replace those bricks
Right.
for you. It might be expensive. It might hurt, but he's going to replace those bricks for you. He's not going to let you crumble on that foundation.
Right.
But you've got to start at some point choosing different bricks. Choosing to build your life and build yourself on a foundation of Christ and his faithfulness, and trusting that he's got you.
Right.
Because you don't want to be on sand.
No.
Because the tides right now are,
Ooh.
I mean, it's hurricane season. Like,
It is.
times 1 million.
It is.
Anyway.
Right, kids. That happened in 2020 also.
Yeah. Yes. Just ask Louisiana. Yeah. So what is building you? What is God using to build you right now? And see it for that.
Right.
And choose to believe in his faithfulness. And if you are having trouble with that, ask the Lord to show you, to go back in time with you and show you where he was. Show you, because he's faithful to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best part of growing in Christ, is you can look back and go, oh, I see his hand. Oh,
Yeah.
there it was.
Yep.
There it is. Oh, okay. Because you can
Oh,
see
that's what happened.
the further away it is, the bigger the picture is, because
Yes.
you can see what he was doing all that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's doing something right now, guys.
Yeah. I've been having some of those moments lately.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh, that was just protection.
Right.
It hurt, but it was protection.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we love you guys.
We do.
We're all still here.
Yep. And God is still on the throne.
Yes. So follow us on social media at Send Help Podcast. Check out our website at thesendhelppodcast.com. We're on the YouTubes.
We are on the YouTubes.
We're on the YouTubes. Go check that out. And
If you haven't seen the video, check it out too. And laugh with us.
we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Keep my eyes fixed on you. I will sing the truth into the dark. I will use my fighting words. Oh, fighting words. Oh, I'm so tired.